It's December 7th, 1941. In the Pacific, Lieutenant Clarence Dickinson and his wingman are ordered to take off from the USS Enterprise by Admiral Halsey and fly their SBD Dauntless dive bombers to Pearl Harbor. It's a day that will live in infamy, as while the Dauntlesses head towards the base, hundreds of fighters and bombers from the Imperial Japanese Navy are in the middle of a devastating surprise attack. Torpedoes pummel the battleships, and bombs rain on local squadrons before they have a chance to even take off. And unbeknownst to the two Dauntlesses, they are flying straight into it. As they get closer to Pearl Harbor, Dickinson notices a smoke cloud over the base up ahead. Seeing the smoke, Dickinson thinks the fields are being burned, or maybe it's gunnery practice. The Army's going to catch hell for that. But then he spots black puffs of anti-aircraft fire. The base is under attack. Dogfight with Zeros begins, when suddenly two Zeros burst out of the smoke. The Dauntlesses are ill-suited for dogfighting, but the dogfight is already upon them. The two Zeros scream in from above and behind and open fire with their 20mm cannons aimed right at Dickinson's Dauntless. McCarthy, in the other plane, banks aggressively to the left, turning under Dickinson in an evasive maneuver. The Zeros miss Dickinson, but with McCarthy below and mid-turn, the Japanese gunfire slams into McCarthy's Dauntless instead. Zeros versus Miller. Meanwhile, Dickinson makes a gentler turn, keeping the aircraft steady, which is perfect for Miller as he opens fire in the rear. Incoming. Miller faces the two fighters, meeting them with his machine gun as they come straight at him. The Zeros shoot past them at incredible speed. Dickinson immediately pushes the nose down and feels the negative G-force as the Zeros slowly drift into his sight from below. He fires his forward guns. But the Japanese have so much speed. The bullets don't find their mark, and the Zeros speed away. They're pulling up and turning back. Reloading. Dickinson catches a glimpse of McCarthy's aircraft. He's pouring oil, and then it bursts into flame. McCarthy is going down. They're relieved to see a parachute bloom, but also horrified as they see only one. More Zeros appear, closing in fast. Dickinson breaks into evasive maneuvers as the Japanese pilots open fire. Miller reloads and carries on firing. It's a hit. "Mr. Dickinson, I think I have got one of them." Dickinson looks over his shoulder to see the plume of oil turn into a flaming inferno. But they still have 4 more on their tail. These Americans won't go down. But it still flies on. However, the Japanese press their attack. It's just a matter of time now before it's over. Again and again, the Americans are hit. Miller fires off his last bullet. "Are you all right, Miller?" "Mr. Dickinson, I've expended all 6 cans of ammunition." A pit grows in Dickinson's stomach. Dickinson's mind drifts back to a conversation the two friends had earlier that day on the USS Enterprise. "It's our last flight together. Don't get me wet, sir." "Don't worry, kid. Just stick with me. Next thing you know, we'll be on the runway in Pearl Harbor." Dickinson's Dauntless is hit. Dickinson hears a blood-curdling scream. The aircraft stops responding to a stick. Dickinson is stuck, banking hard right. He pushes the rudder in a desperate bid to level out, but the aircraft instead drifts into an uncontrollable spin. Dickinson shouts to Miller one last time, "Miller, jump!" in the fleeting hope that he's still alive. He undoes his belts and attempts to disconnect the radio, but he can't unplug the radio. With his belts unfastened and with his time rapidly running out, he grips the radio cable with both hands and snaps it in two. Then he jumps. The wind hits Dickinson in the face as he tumbles out of the doomed aircraft. He searches for the ripcord by feel. Jumping at just 800 feet, he has seconds before he hits the floor. His training kicks in, and he finds the cord and pulls hard. The chute blossoms open. He feels the tug slow him down and then sees the ground rushing up. He hears his aircraft exploding into the earth somewhere nearby, just before he hits the floor. Dickinson quickly unbuckles and gets onto his feet. He's landed on a field, alone. He realizes with dread that Miller didn't make it, and his reassurance to keep him safe was a false promise. Miller. Back on the USS Enterprise, Admiral Halsey is fuming with rage as the reports come through. He knew the Japanese were up to something, but he could never have expected this.
All hands to battle stations. World of Warships.
Arm the photon torpedoes, would say First Officer Riker if he was commanding the USS Enterprise in World of Warships' all-new collaboration with Star Trek. Iconic Star Trek commanders are thrown back in time and onto the bridge of the USS Enterprise in World War II, as well as Yamato and other historic vessels engaging in naval battles in the World of Warships' stunning arenas. Can the captain of a starship command a warship at sea? Well, you can go where no one has gone before and find out. Get special Star Trek-themed game modes and unlock even more Star Trek content. And you can tour the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. For new players that beam up, World of Warships offers an exclusive bonus pack. Make it so with the link in the description to receive a Star Trek Commander, premium account time, a new ship, and much more entirely for free. And don't forget, it's available on consoles. Engage and explore the Star Trek universe in World of Warships today.